Emotional intelligence is a comprehensive understanding of your emotions based on them being 100% accurate at the time you receive them. It doesn't mean that the emotion is correct based on the scenario, but it's always correct in which the way your body responds or reacts. So you must feel the emotion in the moment, even if it's 10, 15, 20 seconds, we'll get into that a little bit more, because emotions are highly accurate assessments of our interpersonal functioning based on either a memory or an outside trigger or some sort of dopamine. So,
Aasha, welcome to the podcast.
thank you so much for having me, Dr. Brody. I'm so thrilled to be here, and hello to everybody listening.
Awesome. Let's dive right into it. Let's define what emotional intelligence is.
Sure. So firstly, my name is Aasha and I'm the founder of BeyondEQ. And why that is important is because emotional intelligence is so much deeper than we've ever been taught. So let's start with the fundamentals of what the definition as we know it right now is of emotional intelligence. It is the ability to label and understand your emotions and then use that information to make better decisions for yourself and for those around you. And when I first started, Dr. Birdie, I was like, okay, like, what does that actually even mean? Right? It was a pretty basic question. Do I know how to feel my emotions? What does it mean to feel your emotions? And when I started asking these deeper questions, I realized that self-awareness and being aware of emotions, it's simply not enough. And we know that because of the tangible evidence around us: increasing heart disease, increasing divorce, increasing gender separation between men and women. And that data shows us that emotional intelligence isn't enough as it was. So the BeyondEQ definition, which is my company, and how I define it, is emotional intelligence is a comprehensive understanding of your emotions based on them being 100% accurate at the time you receive them. It doesn't mean that the emotion is correct based on the scenario, but it's always correct in which the way your body responds or reacts. So you must feel the emotion in the moment, even if it's 10, 15, 20 seconds, we'll get into that a little bit more, because emotions are highly accurate assessments of our interpersonal functioning based on either a memory or an outside trigger or some sort of form of dopamine. So that's where we're at. And that's the whole basis of my work. And now I teach emotional and energetic intelligence.
Emotions are such a big topic because emotions are big. I mean, they're probably one of the most profound things that someone can experience as a human being. And how do you teach people about quote unquote difficult emotions and how to process difficult emotions?
I love that question. First off, I'm super logical. So emotional intelligence is logic. If there's nothing you take away from this podcast as a listener, or even yourself, Dr. Brody, is emotional intelligence creates humans that don't have hurt feelings. We've learned to process your emotions, and I will be 100% real with you. 95 to 98% of people do not even know how to stop and feel their emotions. So let's take the agenda of manifestation and all of these wonderful spiritual things. There is an extraordinary amount of bypassing of actually stopping to feel the emotion. So because I'm logical and I'm also a CEO, I ain't got time for all that, sitting around braiding my, armpit hair. I like to structure shit into like a process, so that how do we actually make this so that I can talk to people about how to do this super simple. So how I do it is I treat my emotions like I treat my muscles in the gym. So let's say you have a limiting belief. Do you want to share a limiting belief with us, or something that might have been a limiting belief for you at a time?
Now, in the past, I used to believe I suck at sales.
Oh God, so relatable. Okay, so your example was my example, right?
Yep.
Okay, love it. And probably a million people in the audience, yeah? So, okay, so your story that you were running on in your little program inside your little Mr. Brody body, big Mr. Brody body,
Yeah.
I suck at sales. So then we're gonna live that reality out until, and this is where a lot of manifestation techniques and really people, they do not stop to talk about the actual emotional charge. So what I would say to you is, okay, your story right now is I suck at sales. What emotion do you feel when you hear that story?
I felt like a clenching emotion, and I would say I felt a contracting emotion, kind of like a viscerally like disgust.
Disgust. Okay. What else? What's the
I
other
would say
emotion?
shame,
Shame. Yeah.
um,
Okay. And what else?
frustration.
Frustration. Okay.
Mhm.
So now we've got three emotions. Really well done. First of all, I love how you started by saying I felt a clenching. That's really where a lot of people leave it. They'll say, I'll say, okay, well, what do you feel when she does that or when he treats you that way? And they say, I feel like he doesn't understand me, or I feel like they don't get it, or I feel like my whole world is blowing up. None of those things are emotions. The emotions are disgust in this particular circumstance, shame, and frustration, right? Justifiable emotions because right now you suck at sales. At least that's what your mind thinks.
Right.
So, what we want to do is what we call isolate these three emotions. So, then my next question will say, which one of those out of those three, disgust, shame, and frustration, which one would you say is the biggest one when you think of the story, I suck at sales?
The biggest one is I would say, is the disgust, is like the disgust, or maybe even like a little bit of self-hate there, maybe.
Sure. Totally. Totally. Okay. So let's go with that. It's like a self-disgust, a feeling like this. So then what I'll ask you to do is I'll ask you to write down the current story. I suck at sales. And then I'm going to have you write down the three emotions. And then I'm going to ask you to safely feel each emotion individually. So 90 seconds per emotion. This is profound. So you might even self-discuss. Let's say you put on like some, like slow, like death music or like, some super sad music. Or maybe you put on like Rage Against the Machine if you're listening, if it's frustration, or maybe you put on something that like activates your fear, music or, whatever, but you're safely feeling the emotion. Now, what our mind normally does, it doesn't want to feel it because it's unsafe to feel uncomfortable. That's
Mhm.
from the womb. The second we're out of the womb, we start crying because we're out of our squishy little mommy's womby and we're on this quest for comfort. So what I then say to you is feel each emotion for 90 seconds. By the time you get to the second emotion, sometimes the third emotion isn't even there anymore. Or you're like, oh my God, I'm starting to feel anxiety, which is emotion you didn't list, but it comes up anyway. And I say, okay, just stay safe in your body, isolate it, feel what you can. And then other times you might be like, oh my God, I have like this saddest, you might feel super sad. And then all of a sudden, Dr. Brody, you go click and you get an aha moment and you go, oh my God, I remember this time like back in high school when like I was trying to get into a group of friends and like they just like wouldn't let me in. And we really now have gotten to the depths of your aha moment. So we're actually accessing the subconscious mind without putting you into a state of hypnosis or other form of alpha frequency simply by moving the emotion that's in the way. And so once that's done, how are you feeling? So you have this happen. You might feel better, you might feel lighter, you might not feel a difference at all. We're going to have to see, right? It's like going to the gym, right? Yeah, I'm not going to say, Dr. Brody, go lift 7,000 pounds. You've never been to the gym before, let's say. And then what I'll have you do is I'll have you write a letter to the version of you that perhaps felt shame and felt like this self-disgust and like even anger or frustration or maybe fear for being in like fight or flight because that shit hurts when you're like going one but you're trying to sell. And then I have you write this letter, whatever comes out, could be a letter to the bully in high school, could be a letter to your mom. And then I'm going to have you burn the letter. And when you burn the letter, we are now symbolically saying this emotion is no longer attached to this story. And that is what Beyond EQ is. It's taking away the energetic charge that's associated with the story. And the result is always the same. More money, hotter, better sex, and a lot more confidence and fun. And
Yeah.
it's amazing. Yeah. Better business.
Something everybody wants. When it comes down to you and how you began to apply that to your
Yeah.
life, take us to the beginning. How did this all start for you?
Thank you so much. That's such a beautiful question. I was coaching and teaching emotional intelligence for about 10 years. I was an international consultant and leader in the hospitality industry, but my whole personal life was an absolute mess. I was about 90 pounds heavier, 80 to 90 pounds heavier than I am now. I did not look like this. I just lost myself. I had dark eyes. I couldn't remember what I wanted in life. I lost the joy, and my marriage was disconnected. And ultimately I got overactive thyroid, and I was, the type of woman that was anxious and everything was wrong with me. I was WebMDing all the time. It's really, really common, especially with a lot of women in the corporate industry. And then I got sick. I got cancer scare. And that's when I knew that I was falling in love with emotional intelligence. I was like, what is this? This is awesome. But also what the fudge cakes? If I'm out here kicking ass at work, but I'm super fat and I don't feel good and I don't feel healthy, even though, and my relationship wasn't deep and sexual and exciting, it was all missing. What's up? This can't be enough. And that's when my whole life burned down, really. I looked at my husband and I said, oh my gosh, we're going to be this amazing power couple. I can feel it. And then within a year, I was divorced. And I wrote my book, The Empath is the Narcissist. And in that book, I rewrote attachment theory with the understanding of feminine and masculine energy. And the more I studied EQ, the more I realized emotional intelligence is masculine and feminine energy. There's no difference between what's going on in our DNA that's going on. Our emotions are 90% of who we are and how we create. And, super simple. You're either going to create with somebody that's going to build you up or knock your ass down. And we've all sort of been there before. How can we do this better? And then I realized in this space, I was creating a really stable, calm child, my son, and open and honest and vulnerable, but super masculine and really, really solid in who he was, simply by working on my own EQ. And so my son and I have gone through an extraordinary amount of very traumatic events in the last 4 years, including losing our house 3 times. And I've realized that happened because of my own inner instability and my own programming from my childhood and my adulthood. And so, I didn't think I could do it on my own. And yeah, it's really, really powerful. So now that's what I do. And now I'm writing my second book called BeyondEQ to talk about this as simple as possible. I teach it through the lens of resilience. And I'd like to encourage you and everyone else not to use the word strong anymore when it comes to leadership. It literally means to grip and to tighten and to constrain. And we've had strong leadership for so long. It's not working. We know that. We need more love, and we need self-empathy and devotion and commitment and authority. And that's my mission, is to get my work into every single company in the universe.
Wow, that's fascinating. It
Yeah.
really is. Thank you for sharing that. I want to dive deeper into emotions are something that we create. Is it something that you teach people to cultivate positive emotions?
No, I actually don't. I teach people to understand that there is no such thing as a bad emotion. There's no positive emotion or negative emotion. That's a story. What I teach people to do is feel the depths of the emotion as it stands. So an emotion is not the story. The emotion itself takes 90 seconds to move. The story that we tie to the emotion can literally last thousands of generations in my belief system. When I'm teaching emotions, I'm teaching them with so much love, no matter if it's the emotion of fear, anger, rage. And what I'm also teaching is cleanliness in your emotions. Women are more emotional generally than men. That's just the way it is. I always use the example, if a man and a wife go on a diet, she's in go to the gym, he's losing weight wicked fast, and she's over here why is John losing weight so quickly? And it's because he doesn't really typically have a lot more a lot of attachments as a woman, as much as a woman does. And it's a beautiful thing because women are extremely powerful. I wish they really understood how much they are so freaking powerful. When the emotional intelligent woman is literally worth her weight in gold. She's the fastest way for a man to make money and be great. Basically, with the way that I teach it is to understand that there's no bad emotion. It's kind of going to work, right? You don't really bring your big emotions to work. It's vulnerability is not the same as emotional dumping. And so what I find a lot with men and women is they want their partner to fix their emotions. But the reality is when we want them to fix our emotions, we're just trying to heal something inside of ourselves that we haven't addressed yet. So I'm always bringing it back to you and like take a little space, like especially when it comes to the love and when it comes to even leadership, we want the problems fixed right away. Like even the AI thing, it's like so funny to watch because like it's like a trauma bond with AI. Like everybody's in this trauma bond with AI, and it's like, give me AI, AI, AI. And I'm like, all right, just relax. It's like another shiny object. We don't need to smother. We can take a little bit of space and energy and time, do those types of exercise I listed, burn the letters, sit with yourself, and come back with a much more level head. It actually changes your brain and your neural pathways.
I want to know about like the 90 seconds, kind of where that comes from.
Yeah, so the mind, as you would know, especially with your work and what you teach, and of course, being a doctor yourself, our brain we are so primal. The stories can be so thick. It's almost like a Rolodex of stories that we have in our mind. And what we want to do is kind of cut that off so that you can stay focused and present. So the primal part of our brain, which is really located at the base of the brain, which is where we're getting the messages and the data, is consistently in fight, flight, freeze, or a state of homeostasis where we're relaxed. When these outside events happen or these memories happen, it really is only 90 seconds of energy that pulses through us that we move. Now, this doesn't mean that you can't have grief sessions that last 3, 4, 5, 6 minutes. I have definitely had that. I'm a big feeler. I love feeling. And, I will sometimes I'll have grief that lasts me sometimes hours because I want to go there. Where it comes from, I'm not sure. I did pick it up at something that I've studied over time, and I'm an Institute of Social Emotional Intelligence certified, and this is 10 years my craft. But that is really what the brain sees as a message. A message comes in for 90 seconds. This is why it's so vital if you're triggered in the moment, which so many people don't even know how to use that word or understand that word that much. But you got to take a second to be like, okay, what is my body feeling? Like, what am I feeling right now? Do I feel threatened?
Yeah.
Hey, I like it.
I know, it's awesome.
It's this comeback story in a way. But I had severe TBI. Was having like grand mal seizures and stuff like that, and memory was gone and just super impulsive, not able to concentrate. Till I learned about the power of our brain, and I'm finding out our nervous system and all of our heart and the organs, and just the ability that we can change our story and change our lives. Back to emotions and how powerful they are. You say it's kind of like going to the gym, and
Yeah.
I like that because most change doesn't happen overnight. Sometimes change can happen really quickly, but like when you're feeling into that emotion, you don't want to feel it, but you feel it instead. Is that kind of what you're talking about? It's like I'm really pissed off right now, really frustrated. And it's like you don't want to feel that, or
Yeah.
you want to run away, or you want to hit a wall or something.
Yeah, it's self-gaslighting where we will gaslight ourselves, and we're or spiritual bypass ourselves, which is spiritual bypassing is when we're like, oh yeah, but other people have it worse than us. No, because other people have it worse than us and you have it a little more cushier, learn to feel it. Because when you learn to feel it, because you have the space to grow your resilience as a person living in the United States, you can help way more people because you're going to get to your highest timeline faster when your emotions are regulated. That is the whole journey that we're doing. I mean, if you've ever listened to any billionaire who's hit rock bottom, the reason is because they push, and they go, but they end up having to go toward a soul lesson that knocks them down, and then they rebuild again. And trust me, I've been there a freaking million times. And and that is because they haven't taken the time, because you got to take the action anyway. But this is probably one of the fear of feeling emotions is one of the reasons why so many people don't go after their dreams. The PTSD of actually taking the action can debilitate someone. So then you sign up for this business course or you go work a job Or you get these dreams and these aspirations and you push them down, Dr. Brody. For like 20 years, I didn't know who I was. Now I'm roller skating, dancing. I had pole dancing this morning, and I'm going to acting 7 hours a week. I'm writing books. I watch my clients wake up to parts of themselves, and then I say, you better take that action. Like, you got to go for it. With EQ, that's what it does. It says, okay, let's feel the emotion. Let's get to the root of the story, but then we're taking action right after that, so that you can, because as soon as you want to shorten the time between the idea and the action, but you can get the wrong ideas if your EQ is off. So let's go a little bit deeper on this, because this is energetic. Yes, to the emotion, but my ethos is this shit don't need to take forever. And you don't need to sit around for 24 hours being a spiritual person in order to get enlightenment. You can literally do it while you're at your computer. I use energy work in my practice to move it along. So I clean the chakras as well. Let's use an example of a man. A lot of men get back pain, or they get like a lot of pain in their shoulders and their backs.
Yep.
And, these guys are dads, and they've been, taking care of a family, and probably maybe a little bit underappreciated. They get the pressure of the world on their shoulders. I can really relate to that as a single mom myself. And they'll store the energy in their back, in their lower chakras, in the root of the system. And so what I do is I use a method in meditation and a deeper energy work to move that energy faster. Then they start to have aha moments, and that includes losing 10, 15 pounds, passing kidney stones, crying, picking up memories from when their grandfather was at war and actually seeing those images in their mind. Very, very powerful, Dr. Brody. And we've really sort of ostracized the energy as like this woo-woo thing. But dude, I just think that's because we're powerful AF, and they kind of like programmed us not to access that power. It's amazing because you get to be you and also see and appreciate everybody else where they are in their sovereignty, but stand for something as well. And that's what it's all about. And nothing's bad or good. And
I just want to know, have you found there are ways of measuring the energetics as it moves throughout our body?
Yeah. So in particular, I have an index that I use where I measure 26 areas of emotional intelligence. So it's endless. I will say this to anybody listening that's like, I definitely have high emotional intelligence. I study this inside outwards, going back to school to also get my doctorate to, make energetics as mainstream as I possibly can. And I still don't think I have high emotional intelligence. I'm still learning constantly about the understanding of what's going on with energy. I'm fully devoted to feminine and masculine energy inside of ourselves. And how does this look in the expressions that we have? So what I want everybody to understand is that you have your own unique blueprint. And the cool thing we do at BeyondEQ is we measure that and we show it to you through this little graph. And so I'll use a good example of an old case study that I have. It was a young lady. This is a public case study. You can find her father Michael's YouTube clip. And she was having a difficult time with her identity. She didn't know how to identify. She was scared. You could tell she was leaning toward wanting to identify as a man, and then also leaning toward staying in her birth sex as well. And none of those things are wrong. There's nothing to judge. She was on her own journey, and they were trying to help her with therapy. And her father said, there's something here that's deeper. He really did know. And so we measured her awareness. I'm telling you, we measured her emotional intelligence. Her self-awareness was through the roof. Like one of the highest self-awarenesses you can score. And her personal power was invulnerable. She had no confidence, but she has awareness. So you might be like, oh, wow, this person's really aware, but their inner system is not okay. And so in that case, she had really low personal power, really high empathy. So now I'm looking at her and I go, oh my gosh, she is the most sensitive, beautiful empath. We worked together for 3 months. Oh my gosh, Dr. Brody, it was amazing. She's now her name is Ariel. She's back to identifying as a girl, and she's at school in Vermont for art. She went on an art scholarship. And when we started, she couldn't even leave her bedroom. She was so depressed and debilitated. And that is like one of my, and she's like, we're still in touch and we're like, okay,
Yeah.
we got to like connect again and get her on my podcast.
Yeah.
And then I've had other teenagers that have stayed in a different sex than they were born with. It's not about that. It's about confidence to rock your own mother effing vibe. And so we got
Yeah.
to go in and see what the vibe is. I'm going to give another example of this. This is a really great question. I'll have these beautiful, very powerful women come to me, and they are so successful on paper, just like myself.
Yeah.
And when I measure their emotional intelligence, their behavioral self-control will be like invulnerable, which means they've got a real snap to them, or
Mm.
they feel unsafe and their
Mhm.
mind is in fight, flight, and freeze,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So their behavioral self-control is compromised,
Sure.
and their empathy will be really low. But at work, they're kicking ass and they're the best at, because they're really doing serving their boss, and
Yeah.
then their husband gets a really poor version of them at home. But on the surface, you can't see this. What I do is I measure that, I get the data, and then from there I lift it. And my results, I have 100% success rate because of what I do. And it's the same thing. More money, better looking, hotter relationships. And occasionally the relationship deteriorates, but we're just moving into a higher level of alignment, and we can do it consciously without a bad guy.
That's the what any good practitioner is just
Yeah.
maybe you're just trying to raise the confidence and energetic frequency within the other person on the other
Yes.
side.
It's the attachments that we have that really hold us back. And that's
Mhm.
what I think the key differentiator with Beyond EQ is we really do. My goal, Dr. Brody, is to just really systematize more and more and more. Because think about this, if you have a team of 10 elite leaders on your team, if somebody is in that energy, they're a money leak. You can't
Yeah.
see it, but they're leaking revenue. That is a major red flag for the company. They can't see it right now. It's a slow momentum. Momentum is always building. So we want the momentum going in the right direction. This is why I look way better now than I did 5 years ago. And this is also why some people used to be fit or used to have a hot body or used to love an amazing man or a woman, and they get stuck in that place and they don't keep it moving energetically.
That stuck energy. And when we feel emotion, I guess this is one of the most mysterious parts about it, is how emotions can get trapped inside of the human body in different locations. So
Yeah.
I guess this is my hypothesis, is we feel a lot of emotion in the heart, and then it
Mm.
radiates out to different areas of the body, perhaps. That's the mysterious part, but
I love that.
yeah.
So in my belief system, we've got well, we've really got about 12 or 13 chakras all the way down to the middle of the earth. And what happens is if you don't feel safe, let's say you left a really bad relationship and they just like walked out and you're collapsed, or like your boss just fired you out of the blue, even though you were like deeply committed, you can feel collapsed for your entire life if you don't work on your emotional intelligence, and you bury it and you bury it and you bury it. With the energy body can be broken up into multiple different types of energetic bodies. This is very deep. We go into the esoteric here, where we talk about the auric field, which is very much like the waterbed. So if you're sitting on one side of the waterbed, that's going to be heavier, and then the other side's going to be really like high and light. The
Right.
same with trauma, and that's really articulated in the book, The Body Keeps the Score, where
Mhm.
we store trauma in different parts of our body. So with the energy, it's what I do when I close my eyes and I move into the energy field as a shaman, is I'm feeling for these energetic bumps. I have cured people's overactive thyroid, and I've also gotten clients pregnant after years and years of not being able to conceive because they have stuff stuck in their womb. So to go back to the heart, for me, the heart is a brain. That's my belief system. I don't need a doctor to tell me it's not. It's not a blood pumping valve thing.
Yeah.
Your heart is open, you are gonna feel totally different from someone who's shut down. I'm 45 years old, and I like, men and women are like, you get such a beautiful energy, but it's because I'm constantly working on my energetic body, my heart. What I do is I stay in the trigger with you. My goal when you're yelling is to keep my heart open as best as I possibly can. Mastery is staying in the projection. and then shooting my heart back at you at the same time as,
Oh, wow.
yeah, as someone who's giving me a gift, somebody
That's
who's
really cool.
hurting me. Right?
Right, like if somebody's acting a certain way towards you, it's usually a reflection of them, what's going on internally. If often we internalize the insecurities of others, right?
Oh yeah.
We're
Yeah,
not
yeah.
aware.
Because they
Um,
come up, right? They come
mhm.
up.
Yeah,
Like, you
in
know
the
what?
ball game too, though. You know what I
Hell
mean?
yeah. And that's the
Yeah.
difference with EQ is when you're really good at EQ, you want to be on the stage of life performing and somebody's throwing a tomato at you and you don't stop the performance and be like, boo-hoo, my performance sucks, let me quit. But in
Right.
our mind, sometimes like, going back to your sales call example and like being shitty at sales,
Yeah.
one person rejects you and you're like, oh my God, like it's me, it's me, it's me. And we wear the story. And the reality is that like it's never the case. It's always a lesson if you're willing to do the internal work. And it's not again about like sitting around and analyzing everything. It's you can do it
Yeah.
really fast. So what I do, let's say the projection thing happened. If you yelled at me and I felt hurt, I would say, oh my gosh, I'm feeling sad and I'm feeling confused. And I'm also feeling like a little bit like I'm feeling angry. I want to fight back. So I will articulate those things in the moment. Believe it or not, it's very attractive for men as well because men need emotional data in order to get to fix the next thing. So it's really cool that way as well.
Yeah.
But it's something that I have had to really work hard for so that I can maintain my composure and still be like sort of vulnerable in the moment, but without trauma bleeding. So if it was really bad, I'd say, okay, well, Dr. Brody, I'm feeling those things and I'm realizing right now in this moment, I don't feel good being here and I need to take a step back. Let me deal with what's going on inside my system because I can't
Right.
change you.
Right.
So even then, and then you might be like, no, Asha, I want you to tell me now. And then I have to say, Dr. Brody, in this moment, I need a moment. I need space. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and put myself to the back. But what can also happen is I can be like, stay away from me. And then I'm in fear and then you're in fear. And that's when chaos starts unfolding. So you only need one person deeply regulated in order to get to the next level and have conflict management resolution. One person.
Is there any other things that you can offer where people can start to do this work?
Yeah. Number one. So you want to ask yourself always, what's my intention? What do I want for myself? What's my vision and values? That is the first fundamental thing. I'm always bringing my clients back to that. What do you see that is not in your present reality? Let's say it's a deep, polarized love with a really epically powerful person and you want to rock the world together. That is a very real thing. Maybe your past has not shown you the proof of that, right? For a lot of people, especially right now, I think it's a really important thing. And the second thing is wealth, right? So what I would always leave with people is what's your vision? What is your values? Whenever you go after that, it's going to hurt. It is not going to be easy, especially if let's say your mom and dad didn't follow their dreams and a lot of people's
Mm.
didn't. So if you live, let's say your name is Mary and you want to be a famous Hollywood actress and your name is Mary and you're living in the middle of Bum Fudge Cakes, Idaho, and you're living in a house and you're married and you bury that and you bury that and you bury that. And then your kids are born and they grow up and they want to follow their dreams. They literally have to cut through the timelines, which are the neural pathways of doubts and limits and beliefs that you didn't go after as the parent, that the parent didn't go after. So it is vital that you ask what you want for you. And then from there, that's the best way that you can parent. And that's the best way you will always align in that place. But it's going to take work. It's going to take energy. It will not necessarily take time if you're willing to do the emotional intelligence and energy work on yourself. So find a shaman, find an energy healer, go out there, enjoy learning the fundamentals of emotional intelligence. You can follow me. I'm all over the YouTube, and you can also read books on emotional intelligence, and you can start understanding that safety to actually go for it is the foundation. From that place, I then recommend getting into feminine embodiment and more masculine presence. But I don't even teach feminine energetics and sexual energy to women and men until I know that they feel safe in their body. And so that is the piece, that you are safe to follow your dreams. It's not going to feel good necessarily,
Right.
but that's the one thing I like to leave people with, that you can do it. You can absolutely fucking do it. I'm living proof. Along the way, your subconscious is going to create these deviations to try to keep you safe. Breaking a leg, getting into a relationship with a person that ends up sucking your soul by accident. Oops. So we create those. You get to be the creator of your reality if you want. And if you can handle that truth, you should do it. Because not everybody can handle that truth. They want to be responsible for the good, happy manifestations, but they don't want to take responsibility for the crap that they manifested.
Right.
But if you can hear that, if you can hear me when I share that, and you say, okay, no, Aasha, no, he hurt me or she hurt me, then you're perhaps not ready for that truth. But if you're the type of person that's like, yeah, you know what? I do want to take radical responsibility. I do want to be the creator of my reality, and I do want to lead us into a new existence. Well, then, hello, let's go. Yeah, and a great place to start with that is my book, The Empath is the Narcissist. If you're still kind of in the victim and you're feeling like you've been hurt by a narcissist or you've been hurt by a family member, we want you to be in control of your existence in your movie. So start there. It's a great book.
Well, I'm genuinely looking forward to reading that book. It's a fascinating concept, but I'm looking forward to diving into the meat of it to discover what all of that, because there's no way that we can talk about this. But anyhow, I would love for you to let listeners figure out how to connect with you.
So to get in touch with me in the moment, I do have a YouTube channel that's running. So you can go check it out. It's called Magnetic Frequency. It's cool. It's a little like, I just post some really cool stuff. There's great videos on mother wounds, PTSD, sexual energy, and also business as well. I talk about a lot of different subjects. The second thing that you could do to get in touch with me is just email me. It's Aasha at BeyondEQInternational.com, or you can just pop on my website. I've got some really cool free videos on my website, which is BeyondEQInternational.com. And yeah, take a little look around at what I do there. I work with a lot of sales teams and luxury hospitality. And then I'm also just available for one-on-one work. I do some really cool stuff. And thank you so much for having me.